You made it to level 2, deeper questions leading to deeper answers. I'm Tomas Garza, and I'm here to help you decide to transform. I'll be setting the pace for the process to support your unfolding. Learn and commit to a practice that brings simplicity and then awareness of what is ready to be released. Join me now and allow the experience of a deeper sense of love. Welcome to Decide to Transform. I'm your host, Tomas Garza, and I'm excited about today's show. As always, I have a very special guest today, and I am really looking forward to today's show because we are changing it up and we're going to have music, both recorded and live today here on Decide to Transform. Joining me from Toronto is Philip Jacobs, and Philip runs Toronto Sound Therapy, which we'll talk more about here on the broadcast. Philip Jacobs is a registered practitioner of Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbal and nutritional medicine, and mind-body medicine. Philip combines his love of music with his training in various health and healing modalities, including relational psychosomatic therapy and sound therapy, to create a safe space for clients to attain their mind and body connection. He is deeply committed to helping people draw from their own inner wisdom in order to facilitate self-healing. As a faculty member of Canada's Institute of Traditional Medicine, Philip co-created Canada's first certificate of sound therapy training program. Currently, Philip is returning to his roots of song composition, recording, and performing, and is working on releasing an album in support of mental and spiritual health advocacy. I'm looking forward to this. Philip, welcome to Decide to Transform.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to share.
This is really wonderful. It's been a while since I've had a musician on the show and a sound therapist and healer. And you've got a tremendous amount of background here, Philip, in traditional and Western healing modalities, traditional and modern. And, you have a lifelong love of music that is threaded throughout. And at what point in your life did you begin to integrate music into your work as a healer?
That's a great question. Thank you. Thank you for asking, and
Hmm.
thank you for saying all those things. To hear it back, it really resonates, and I'm getting chills as
No,
you're saying these things.
right on.
To remember back, when I started practicing acupuncture and Chinese medicine, which was around 12 years ago now,
Okay.
12 years ago in a month, basically. Um, yeah, I learned about medical qigong in the study of Chinese medicine, and then medical qigong has the different tones to different emotions, energetics, and organ systems, and
Okay.
disease, right? So it's a system that incorporates sound and tones to move the stuck energy or the stagnant energy or emotions or whatever that is that needs to move
Yeah.
just by sound. So about 12 years ago, I merged the two, the love of music and the acupuncture and Chinese medicine practice.
Okay. So now you were already practicing then, correct, in 2008?
2008, I started practicing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then when you added the music, how did you notice that that changed people's experience or outcomes?
It um, it it enhanced the experience altogether.
Mm.
Acupuncture, psychotherapy, or any sort of modality that is being used is great. But when you incorporate and add sound, sound magnifies the intention or magnifies the consciousness or or whatever that is being done or what work is being done. So sound will magnify it, carry it through, and I've had some amazing experiences to witness
Mm.
people coming out of the session with the sound and or without the sound as well. It's pretty amazing. Sound of vibration is pretty amazing because I remember one of my teachers talking to me about the silent sound or the inaudible sound is the most powerful sound, and I
Okay.
was like, whoa, okay. So
Yeah.
I went into some research around that. So if I can conjure up the sound inside of me,
Mm.
right? So if I imagine the sound, or if I do that, I am transmitting and vibrating in that frequency, and
Mm.
that goes across. Now, the reason why he said, or that my teacher said it was more powerful, I've come to recognize is that there's no distraction with the actual quality of the tone.
Okay.
So if somebody speaks in a certain tone, there might be some sort of reaction something that shows up with
Hmm.
a certain level of tone. So there's that as well. So sound on its own that you can hear is great, but the inaudible sound is even more powerful because there's no attachment to the tone.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Well, it does. It does. And if you're listening out there and you're a meditator or a practiced qigong or yoga, this may make some sense to you. And if you do not, then what are we? What does that actually sound or look like to approximate or achieve silent sound?
When you say it, it reminds me of the song "Sounds of Silence."
Okay.
So it is the witnessing of the internal environment and the external environment, and seeing what's vibrating and resonating, and we can use the internal silent sound, and I look at that as the observation of the internal environment observing the external environment, and vice versa.
Right. Right.
There's a vibration there, and
Hmm.
that is essentially sound. Now we interpret the vibration as maybe a thought or a narrative, or we want to attach what we're seeing, something that we're comfortable with, and the idea is just to notice it as a vibration.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I can have a certain vibration, and I can have like 10 million. I say 10, that's a lot of them, but 10 million different narratives going on with that vibration.
I'll bet. Yeah, we all can.
So like if we're like, for example, if I'm angry, there could be like 10 different narratives going off at once. It depends on who's close to me, what circumstance I'm in. That all influences the vibration of the perception of what my experience is, and we have the capabilities to switch out of that experience if it's not desirable or if it's not serving, and then switch into an experience or a vibration that does serve, and then helps us helps me be in the moment, be in a responsive way, not in a reactive way. And so there's lots of so many components, and these are the things that
Yeah.
I'll be talking. I'm going to be offering a free course at the International Academy of Self. Is that right?
Uh,
Abbreviated IAWSM.
yeah. International Academy of Universal Self Mastery,
Exactly.
IAUSM. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be doing a free introduction to how sound works.
Hmm.
In that, so it's like I could spend hours talking to you, but I'm trying to give you an abbreviated version. But if anybody out there listening wants to learn a bit more, I'll be doing this. It'll probably be ready by like the end of November, mid December,
Hmm.
to for people if they're interested in finding out how this all works. And
I love it. Okay, yeah, and this that Philip that you're referring to, IAWSM, the International Academy of Universal Self Mastery, is a global online learning community. And Philip, we're happy to have you as a part of it. The listeners will know that I'm also involved with this online academy, and we're fortunate enough, Philip, to have you as one of the instructors. And sound healing, I think, is going to be really, really popular. Really.
I feel like it is like the trend even in our society. We're seeing people revert to some sort of sound therapy or music therapy.
Hmm.
So it's interesting, and like to discover the roots and the mechanics of how it works, the science behind it. It's like, why aren't we doing this all the time?
Hmm.
But then there's that's another conversation onto itself. But
Yes, we might get into it, but
yeah,
maybe not right now. Yeah.
so that's great. So I'm very
Yeah.
happy to be a part of the iAwesome
Hmm.
community to do that. So I wanted to create something out of my practice and what I observed and what I learned with the integrating the science, the Western science and the Eastern science and all the philosophies in between,
Yeah.
about how this can work, and then how someone can make it their own, rather
Hmm.
than this is a recipe, and if you do these notes in this sequence, you'll have the desired effect, right? But that's not the way I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable if I make it my own and everybody makes it um,
Hmm. Okay.
their own interpretation, right? So if I'm trying to
Yes.
be like somebody else, or somebody else's melodic interpretation of what the disease or the imbalance needs, I'm not being present. I'm trying to be like
Hmm.
someone else, but that's
Hmm.
and that I don't feel is fully engaging. So
Sure.
I designed it in such a way that you can incorporate it and make it your own, and discover music and sound on with your own, make your own relationship with it, not my relationship or somebody else's relationship, your own relationship.
Yes, that sounds very, very critical. Is that it's one's own relationship. Hmm.
I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
I really feel
Yes.
so. Yeah, I went through part of my life's journey, and I'll bring this into when I'm talking about why I'm advocating for mental health so much,
Great. Okay.
is my own personal journey with
Mhm.
mental health, and my relationship with music. And I came to, excuse me a second. I came to the realization about two years ago how I was using music and sound to soothe myself, and I didn't recognize what I was doing and how I was doing it. But
See.
obviously,
Okay.
it's pretty obvious, right? Like if I'm feeling a certain mood and I want to listen to a certain song, I will put that
Mm.
into place. So where where we go with the sorry, I sort of lost my train of thought there.
Well, it's we're talking about where we go with one's own experience
Yes,
of sound. Yeah, of course.
thank you. Yeah, so it brings up a lot of things with my I had to redefine my relationship with music, because I fell
Mm.
I fell into it's just soothing, right? That I would do, like anything associated with music, it would be just my soothing, and I didn't recognize that's what I was in, and I'd lost sort of lost my way in the creating music and the performing music, and engaging with people,
I see.
like what I had known. So it developed into a very, very like my blanket, my
Oh,
comfort. So
sure, sure.
redefining my relationship with music, and understanding what it
Mm.
can serve. It can serve so many things. Music at birth, music at funerals, music at weddings, music at celebrations, music when you're sleeping, music when you're meditating, music
Hmm.
music all around. There's vibration and sounds, and everywhere. So,
Yeah.
but definitely first and foremost, it is your personal relationship with sound and your personal relationship with music. That's what is going to translate.
Okay. And I think that what you've just spoken about really resonates with a lot of people because it is very, very much universal. And I think people can relate to music, putting on a certain types of music to evoke a certain feeling or to generate a certain mood, something like that, a certain ambiance. So yeah, this is it's very interesting, the depth of it. And what strikes, I think, a lot of people is how profound it is and how little we actually think about it in our day-to-day lives. What a healing tool this really is.
Mm, yeah, it's. I think once we come into tune or attune to the healing aspects of music, things are going to cosmically shift in such a big way. And like to talk about the times now and what's happening now.
Yeah.
Music is going to be very, very, very important, and sound and all of those things. Using your voice, speaking your truth, and making sure that your vibration is in line and true to yourself.
Hmm.
Right now, so important for the shift and the transition and transformation that the whole entire world is going through.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I agree with you.
Right. And this is, and for listeners, if you're wondering about I Awesome that Philip and I have been talking about just now, we'll talk about it more at the end of the broadcast, but I'm happy to give you the website address right now. It's iausm.com. iausm.com. We'll talk more about it. So,
That's
uh,
beautiful. We should mention the launch party. That's next Thursday. Is it
oh yeah,
next Thursday? Yeah, evening.
the right the 30th, the 29th actually is the party
Okay.
date. Yes, the party date, and you can stay tuned for more information on iawesome.com. But yes, on the 29th there's a launch party. On the 30th of October we actually officially open our doors, and this is a project that again Philip is involved in, I'm involved in, and a number of my friends and colleagues are involved in, and really, really wonderful. So go online and check that out between now and then. That's what I would say.
That's what I would say too. That's what I would do. I would
Uh-huh.
do that right now. Just check it out, just out of curiosity. And you can sign up if you go there now. You can sign up to be a trial student for
Yes.
30 days.
Yeah, for 30 days, and to try and give the website, which we're developing and loading courses, and you'll find a number of different offerings on there as well, including sound therapy, all kinds of different healing modalities, and there are health classes, business classes. You'll also notice when you go on to iausm.com that a number of them are absolutely free. So we do offer a number of free courses for you. Check that out, and it's going to be a really wonderful force of change. Is what I really want to say. That we're all very excited about.
That is, it's very, very, very exciting. I've seen some of the courses on there so far, and they look very intriguing. Some of them that I want to sign up for.
Hmm.
But remember that I have one coming up as well. So please stay tuned for that. But
Absolutely.
in the spirit of transformation and moving through things right now, the idea of taking care, I think, of your mental health is front and foremost for me in my life, and
Okay.
I see a lot of things, and from what I know, our mental health has a lot to do and a lot to do with influencing how we feel physically, and if there's any physical manifestations of disease we can
Yes.
we can look at apart from traumatic injury, like accidents or anything like that, the mental health comes up into play and injures from the inside out. An accident
Hmm.
or something like that is a collision is like an external from to the internal, and that's how that traumatic incident happens. But we were so not, I would say, from a mass point of view. So it's coming into play now, like the focus on mental health and the awareness of mental health. But it's been not there for so long. The focus and the interest in mental health. We think, we feel, then we become what that is, and our nervous system is so our nervous system so has our back that it will manifest what we think, what we want to create, what we want to do, even even subconsciously, if we're not
Mm.
even aware of those thoughts, it will still manifest.
Right.
So when something happens physically or something comes about physically, there's, it's time to look at, how do I treat myself? Am I okay? And how am I talking to myself when things
Hmm.
come up? And how am I reacting to myself? Am I projecting, those things onto other people in my environment, or am I projecting
Yeah.
onto myself and things like that? So it's important, like the transformation that needs to occur.
Hmm.
I believe is the biggest block is the mental health, and that the mental health sort of separates the spirit and body. If we can do it with layers, and we put spirit on the top, and mental health in the middle, and your physical health on the bottom.
Sure.
If there is no mental health focus or awareness, there creates a separation between spirit and body.
Hmm.
And what we want to do is make sure that everything is connected. And the biggest gap or the biggest loss that I see in my practice is that mental health component. If I can't feel an
Yeah.
emotion, or I know there's a disconnect, or if I can't feel something, I can't. There's a disconnect from my spirit and my body. That's how I look.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if I'm taking care of my mental health, then there starts the connection between spirit and body, and then my true spiritual journey and spiritual awakening. Um, my belief is spirit doesn't need any help.
Yeah. Right.
it it
Right.
uh, it, it already knows. All I got to do is get out of my way, or
Hmm.
get out of spirit's way, and get in tune with the energetics and the spirit of the universe, and making sure that then my mental health is taken care of, and then I can fully be here in whatever it is that I need to be here, and fully human. We can,
Right.
human be spiritual human experience.
Yes. Yes, I love that, and thank you for sharing that. So important. I think that everybody in the world needs to just download this show when it becomes available and listen to this podcast right
Perfect.
there. Yeah.
I thank you. I feel so strongly about this. I
Hmm.
so strongly, like in my personal life and my practice. Like,
Yeah.
if we can do that.
Hmm.
Like I'm getting, let's call them truth chills. I'm getting chills right now talking about it,
Love it.
because if we can meet there, and we can relate there, then we can all have a spiritual connection and journey together, and a whole spiritual journey. That means spirit, mind, emotions, mental
Hmm.
health, and body all integrated.
Yes,
And that
everything.
that's the I think that's the full true spiritual experience. It's not trying to be all spiritual all the time. It's like, how do I connect, man?
Yeah. I don't know what that
Connect
looks like. Yeah. Yeah.
connect through emotions, which is
Oh, yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. Hmm.
The song that I wrote, that I recorded, that I would love to play
I
for
love it.
you, it's called
Yes, please.
I am all of the things.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote it 2.5 years ago,
Okay.
and I recorded like the initial version 2.5 years ago, and I just got into recording like the real version that I wanted to hear.
Mm,
And I called it the Buddha mix, because I want this. It's not a song; it's actually a meditation.
I love that. Okay.
So I want to, how do I integrate song and meditation
Hmm.
in the same sentence, or the same sort of experience? This is my attempt at this, and I can go ahead and start this. This is called I Am All of the Things.
I love it. Okay.
I wrote it at a very, very low, well, I say low, but difficult time in my life, um, where I had to check in with my internal experience. And then
Okay.
I also had to reach out to external things or beings that I trusted.
Hmm.
And it was so difficult at the time. The only thing that I trusted was the trees.
Oh, I see. Okay. Mm,
So the tree then became the center of the meditation, and the trees had the message
mm.
of that. So I've incorporated some chanting, some rhythms,
Okay.
and some vocals, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts after. after you hear it. So anybody that's
Absolutely.
anybody that's tuning in, if you want to close your eyes, put on a set of headphones if you haven't already, and then we can start this right now. See you on the other side of 6 minutes and 26 seconds. Which, by the
All
way,
right.
I looked up the spirit meaning of 626, and
Okay.
I'm gonna encourage you to look up the spirit meaning of 626. It's pretty profound,
Okay. All right. I love it.
which is neat. Okay, so here's the song,
Okay. Thank you.
and we'll see you on the other side of this.
I love this.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yes. Thank you for sharing this. This is entitled I Am All of the Things, Buddha Mix, that Philip, you've arranged and prepared for us today. So thank you. I love this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's bringing up so many feelings and so many emotions when I hear it. So thank you for listening, and thank you for having it on your show. Um,
Absolutely.
I'm curious. I'm curious to what your experience was like.
Yes. Well, and the listeners, I would be curious to know what your experience was like as well. This was both relaxing and highly energizing at the same time.
Mm,
And I at first felt relaxed. Then I found myself almost dancing, in fact,
mm,
swaying, moving, tapping my feet. There's an undercurrent of real energy to the piece that I think listeners will really relate to. And I found myself thinking, well, okay, what would I do if I had this playing in the background? Would I be able to write? Because I'm a writer. Would I be able
mm.
to perform other tasks on the computer or something? And I thought, what I would really do is just sit down and close my eyes and just listen. And that was my experience.
I mean, beautiful. You're giving me chills. Beautiful. That therein is it in itself in taking the time and just being for for 6 minutes or for 30
Right.
seconds or for that. So I'm so happy that that came through for you. Just to take a moment.
Yes. Right. Yeah, so important. Well, and Philip, let me ask you, what comes up for you? You mentioned a range of emotions.
Mm, it's when I listen to the song, I immediately smile.
Cool.
If that's allowed in meditation, if you're allowed to smile in meditation, or
So is
you
laughter
just
allowed.
stay
Oh,
completely
oh.
still.
Good luck with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I I feel like I've done a really I've gotten really close to what it is like in my head sometimes.
Okay.
And with the different layers and the different vocals, it's recognizing and making me aware of of all of the things inside of me. When I listen to it, I'm aware
Okay.
of the vocals and the voices really resonate with all the emotions and the virtues, and it
Hmm.
creates movement. And every time I've listened to it, when I've been mixing it down, it's still not completely done, but this is like a preview.
Oh, okay.
Every time
Hmm.
I'm going through mixing the song, there's a different connection to a different part of the song, every or meditation every single time.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
even through the calmness of meditation, what I really wanted to portray was in the lines or the melodies where there's the almost like yelling.
Right.
It's it comes through, and it reminds me of myself when I'm being calm on the outside. And there's this sometimes there's this screaming inside of like, I just want to yell. I just
Okay.
want to get whatever this energy is
Hmm.
out with good intentions of just being and seeing and being seen by myself first, um, which really helps. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that, and listeners, I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are. What comes up for you as you hear this and other pieces that Philip is going to share with us here on the show today? And you can reach me via email at tomas@tomasgarza.com with your comments. I'd love to hear those. So, Philip, I love this, and you mentioned that it's not ready. Is in you've done several versions of it, and there are other songs, both live and recorded, that we've talked about that you're interested in sharing?
There are.
Yeah, yeah,
I can do. I've got one that's coming to me right now,
I love it.
which was written around the same time as the I am all of the things, and this one's called "Sometimes We Forget."
Okay.
And this is a song, and this is a really big deal for myself. When I went through that difficult time, before that, I was writing songs about other people or for other people, and I realized and recognized that I need to write songs for myself.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if I write to myself, there is that universal aspect
Hmm.
that we all share in common. It's not like I'm observing and I'm obviously pointing a finger, or this is happening over here, which we can do, and we narrate and things like that. But the most important shift was like I need to write those songs as I was talking to myself, and then it helped reframe and
Okay.
rewrite some of the narratives inside my head or inside my
Mm.
heart, which is very very helpful. So
Okay.
sometimes we forget is I'm going to say walking meditation. So in your real life, let's say real life, but in your walking meditation, in your active life, day to
Hmm.
day life, sometimes we forget, and sometimes we get triggered, and sometimes we get activated, and we forget completely who we are,
Uh-huh.
and we react.
I love
And,
it. Okay.
and the reaction, obviously, like when we forget, we are. I want to say we're in some sort of a defensive fight or flight or freeze mode. We've forgotten the piece of ourselves inside. Let me say peace, Peace, like peace, like peace, man.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we've forgotten the piece that we have inside, and we are being then defensive. And this song is about do I say defensive or avoidance? There's the two sides of things.
Hmm.
But this song is about that, and it's about specifically towards people with addictions and people with
Ah,
suicidal tendencies, or have or will, or somebody that has known somebody that's committed suicide
okay.
because of mental health and addictions and things like that. So this is very
Hmm.
close, very very close to me here. So we'll do. I think this key is good. Okay. Whew. Okay. You mean the world to me. I hope that you can see my wish is you are free in all the things you can be. Can you spread your wings and fly? The haters will pass you by, and you will be as you will be, but flying and being free. Oh, let it be. You are already free, but you don't know it yet. Sometimes we forget who we really are. Some take their lives away, only to ease their pain that they can rid themselves in this lifetime. Only we can save the helpless with the brave. Onwards we will go, the greater we will grow. So let it be. You are already free, but you don't know it yet. Sometimes we forget who we really are. Oh, oh, I, so let it be. but you don't know it yet. Sometimes we forget who we really are. But you don't know it yet. Ooh, but you don't know it yet. Sometimes we forget who we really are. Oh.
Wonderful, wonderful, Philip. Philip, thank you for sharing the title, Sometimes We Forget. Yes. All right. Well, now is this a song that you wrote long ago, or is this more recent?
So I wrote this. I wrote this again about the same time as I wrote "I Am All the Things." Two and a half years ago,
Okay. Hmm.
I wrote that. I wrote that. It sort of came. It came through. It just it really, really flowed. And
Hmm.
it is all about us moving through through this together. Um, things are going to happen. Things will happen, but it's a matter of what we do in our interconnectedness and our moving forward. That's going to be the most important. And I feel like all we have to do, and I say it's it sounds easy. It's not. All we have to do is remember, remember, like we're putting ourselves back together, or
Yeah. Yeah.
remembering, and then really coming into like who we truly are. We're not just
Hmm.
physical. We're not just emotions. We're all of the things.
Hmm. Yes.
So the mind body and the spirit connection, we're all of that, and we can choose to approach health, mental well-being, or wellness through those three things. We can do it through physical, we can do it through mental health, and we can do it through spirituality. Uh,
Yes.
so waking up, the mental health component is really going to help us dive into our connected and allow our spirit to really be embodied here in this plane, in this dimension, in this time, in this
Yeah.
this universe.
Yes.
Just remember, and then we have remembering like Western science. Just remembering Western science has researched DNA, which has been thoroughly investigated. It
It
hasn't
sure
been
has.
fully investigated, but the fact that we carry our ancestors' genes
Hmm.
in our DNA, gives us access to all the information, like lineage, for generations and generations past. If we can tune into like who we are and remember who we are, we have access to infinite amount of wisdom and knowledge and all that kind of stuff, and that is contained in the DNA, which is the
Hmm.
middle, like the center of our cellular makeup.
Yes.
Each cell has the DNA, and then the RNA, and we'll get into a cell discussion here, but that from the microcosm to the macrocosm, the microcosm being the cell and the DNA, the macrocosm, when we put it all together, we have access to all of that, and
Uh-huh.
that is incredible. Access to lineage down with information around sunsets and sunrises 400 400 years ago. What was
Yes.
it like, and what was the climate and the culture of
Hmm.
those things like, and that is all inside of us.
Yes, it is. And it is. And it can be accessed.
And that's the beautiful thing, is that
Hmm.
we can access that information, and then our, I would say, our duty or our human experience tells us to share that in information,
Yes.
and share it with others, and then those like-minded people will get together and share the
Mhm.
same things, and then hopefully by the end, I say the end of the world, the end of time, we're all like-minded.
Right. Yes. Yeah. We're all like-minded, and if you're listening, thinking, "Hey, wait a minute, my mother-in-law is not like-minded," then
Yeah,
well, it's all relative right here. But
it
we're
is.
talking ultimate,
Ultimately,
ultimately. Yeah.
ultimately, when we get past the noise, we get
Hmm.
past the noise of we'll say the presentation and the perception of the presentation. If we
Yeah.
get past that, we are all the same.
Hmm.
In that they're, literally, energetically, we could say there is no difference between me and you. I am you, you are me.
Right.
There's a Beatles song out there, isn't it? I am you, you are me. I am the walrus. That song that has those
Hmm.
lyrics in there talks about that
Yes.
we are reflections of each other. But
Hmm.
like-mindedness is, we have to get past that noise, right? Or past the I'm lightly using ego presentation.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, and it strikes me that music is a really beautiful tool that we have to cut through that noise.
Mm, that's a beautiful way of saying that, and thank you for saying it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It does it. It gets past.
It does. Yeah. It passes the gatekeepers, so to speak.
It does, yeah.
Just,
And the gatekeepers are just following orders. So if we can get past the
mhm,
gatekeepers to the thing that's giving the orders or giving the signals inside of us,
mhm.
we're doing that instead of like reconnaissance missions of like
Right.
fixing our interactions with the gatekeepers. And
Yes.
that's not really the problem. It's like, how do we get to the core of.
How do we get to the core? Yeah. Yeah. And if we're analogizing it to standing in line at a nightclub, music is always on the list. Come
Music.
in, music, you're on the list.
Yeah, music.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, like, back in the day when I used to play in bars and nightclubs and things like that.
Uh,
We as the musicians, everything was at our disposal. So we were well taken care of in that realm of things.
yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Well, and so I know that the listeners enjoyed the last song so much. Is there anything else, Philip, that you're being called to share here today?
Yes, absolutely. There's the one more recorded song that I wanted to share
Fabulous.
with you, and this one's called "Be the One," and in brackets I've put "Devil on the Run."
Okay.
And the when I wrote the song, the lyrics were, um, they struck me, but the words that were coming through were just the words, and my relationship to the words became almost like, I don't know if I can share the song with people, because
I see. Okay.
the perceptions of some of the, and it's not like nasty lyrics, but some of the lyrics in there in the story that's being told is, it looks at some pretty crazy things.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it addressed my relationship with let's say my personal relationship with religion,
Oh, I
addressed
see.
my
Hmm.
relationship with, we'll say God and the devil.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it starts, the song. I'll set the song up. The song
Okay.
starts with, um, you know, being curious about what my nervous system is maybe picking up on, and then it goes into the judgment around, my nervous system's judging
Oh, sure.
what's coming about. And at the end of the day, right, like my practice is like, I have to nourish my feminine, um,
Right. Right. Hmm.
nourish my the, I don't want to say matriarch, but I came across the word mistress.
Mm.
And back in the day, when the original meaning of mistress was the female head of the household, or the institution,
Oh,
or
sure. Right.
the leader. The mistress was called
The
called
leader.
the leader. So, in the chorus, the words that came through, was, devil on the run. I keep the fire, my fire, the mistress, which is the feminine, and
Hmm.
the fun. And I keep those three in line. I've got the fire of life. I've got the feminine that I need to reestablish the relationship with, and the fun is life, is life itself, like the
All
journey,
right.
the adventure through what it is that we're going through. So
Ooh,
I
wonderful.
will pull this song up. Let me see if I can get this here.
Yeah. No, this sounds very, very interesting. I know the listeners are going to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
And I will too.
it's 3 minutes and 41 seconds.
All right.
I yeah, and enjoy. Let me. I'm curious to see how your experience is going to be with this song as well compared
Sure.
to the other ones. This one's a little bit more, say, alternative rockish.
Oh, okay. I love this. All right.
Okay,
I've yet
perfect.
to have alternative rock on the show, so this is a first. I love this.
Amazing,
Looking forward to it. Cool.
amazing. Okay, here we go. Thanks so much. Here's Be the One.
I wonder about what's coming in. Is it love or is it sin? I try not to think too much about those things. I will stay in what it is and what it brings. Oh, the devil on the run. I keep the fire, the mistress and the fun. For my angel said it can't be done. I will be the one. What are you doing up here in my head? If you stay here too long, I will end up dead. Drop down into the fires of my heart. With every breath, that's where I start. Oh, devil on the run. I keep the fire, the mistress and the fun. For my angel said it can't be done. I will be the the shadows of my life. I leave behind the feelings of my strife. What will come before me now that I'm alive? I let it all go, I can thrive. Oh, devil on the run. I keep the fire, the mistress and the fun. For my angel said it can't be done. I will be the one. Oh, devil on the run. I keep the fire, the mistress and the fun. For my angel said it can't be done. I will be the
All right, there is Be the One.
I love that. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Again, this is the first alternative rock song ever heard on Decide to Transform. So, yeah,
Amazing.
you got a first. I love this. I really do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to it. And thank you for your feedback.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just I'm struck by an image that a former guest, Kelly Fisher, on the show had of a what he calls a yip yip dog, and that's a small dog, our inner roommate in our head, that's
Mm, yes.
always talking, and I think of a Chihuahua or a very small dog.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
perfect. Perfect.
and
Just yap, yap, yap in the background.
yes, the yapping, and it strikes me that the more we listen to that, the more down the proverbial rabbit hole we can go,
Mm.
and just getting out of our head is so critically important. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and the songs talks about what are you doing up here in my head, right? If you stay here too long, I'll end up dead. But
Hmm.
when I notice that, it's like I'll drop down in the fires of my heart, and then with every breath, like a meditation, that's where we start. We start in the moment. We start, once we recognize that the dog is, you know, setting off the alarm.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is it's very, very, very interesting. Then, did you record this one 2.5 years ago as well?
I recorded that one. I wrote that one actually, sort of when I was coming out the other side of the difficult time,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
and then I recorded that. I finished recording that February of this year, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I love it. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
Philip, this is wonderful. I've not had anyone ever share two recorded songs and one live on the show before, so I have to tell you, I've really enjoyed this, and I've really enjoyed our conversation about the importance of music
Mm.
in healing and in getting past the gatekeepers.
That's it right there. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed every single second moment of
Mm,
this talk and exploring with you. And it is, it's important to recognize when we're listening to something, what are
mhm.
we actually listening to?
Oh yeah, yeah,
What what's actually coming through? How am I perceiving? How am I experiencing this moment and what I'm hearing? External environment and internal environment, both are relevant.
they
Um,
are. Yeah.
so yeah, just to be even just aware of that, things start to shift. Of like, oh my goodness, what song did I just listen to, and what was the lyrical content of that song that is now embedded in my nervous system that I was listening, but I wasn't really listening. But
I love that.
the body takes it right anyway.
Yeah, no, I just think of an embeddable player on a
Yeah,
website, right? Yeah, like on the show, for example, an
that's
embeddable
it.
player. Here's the link. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Philip, this has been an absolute pleasure. And before we wrap up here, how can people get a hold of you if they would like to hear more about what you're up to
Mhm.
and work with you? How can they
Uh,
reach you here?
Yeah, thank you for asking.
You bet.
Reach me through my website, www.torontosoundtherapy.com, or through my Instagram account, Toronto Sound Therapy. Both are the best ways to sort of like delve into who I am a little bit more. On the website, there's a listen tab, and there are some sound therapy tracks and some meditation tracks, also as well as some of the songs slash meditations that I've written on there. And then I'm also going to send you a link. So there's a link to those two recorded songs that aren't released; they're private links, but I'll send you a link for
Oh,
your
wonderful.
post as well.
Okay. Yeah, beautiful. So those listening on Podbean.com, decide to transform.podbean.com is my sites of the official show site will have that link when it's available. So Philip, thank you for that. And again, your website, torontosoundtherapy.com, and Instagram at Toronto Sound Therapy.
Perfect. You got it. Thank you.
Love it. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Well, so Philip, before we wrap up, then any quick, anything else that you would like to share with our listeners today?
Um, I would say, please, please, please be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Be gentle to yourselves internally first and foremost, and then each other. So be gentle, and then that will translate. And take care of yourself. Take care of
Mm,
your mental thoughts and the feelings first and foremost. And then we can start helping other people as long as we take care of ourselves first.
mhm.
First,
Yeah.
first level, I'll show you. I've got my stickers on my guitar. It says it's on backwards, but you can't see it on the podcast. But it says "I love me."
Oh, I love that.
I
Okay.
love me.
Yes. Yeah. Really, really important. I'm really happy that you threw that in at the end because it's so critical. It's so
Yeah,
critical. So thank you for adding that component. You bet.
you're welcome.
Yes. Well, this has been a very special and fun edition of Decide to Transform with my special guest, Philip Jacobs of Toronto Sound Therapy. Everybody have a great day wherever you are, and thank you so much for tuning in.